What's good, everybody out there in the stream world?
And we're recording.
What's good with everybody that's going to see the recording world?
All right. All right. So, welcome to episode 26 of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. Today, we're going to be recapping yesterday's games, the Nets versus the Cavs and the Clippers versus Minnesota. And we're going to preview two of today's games in the Charlotte Hornets versus the Atlanta Hawks and the San Antonio versus New Orleans. So, let's start off with last night. Last night's a Brooklyn Cavs game. Damn. 12 for 15 is crazy by Kyrie. That's just I don't know what to say about that. That's just crazy efficient. KD did his thing. I still really like the Cavs to possibly come out the East. Depending who they get matched up with. It's going to be a tough matchup either way. If it's Charlotte or if it's Atlanta. But I still like the Cavs. Hopefully they make the playoffs. I can see them beating Atlanta in the playoffs.
Okay, let me stop you because I heard about two things that I got a question.
Go ahead.
First thing, well, one thing mainly. You said the Cavs coming out the East.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The
I
playing
want you to
game.
clear that up.
Playing game. Make the
Yeah,
playoffs. I want to see the Cavs make the playoffs.
got you. I wanted you to clear that up. Did you watch this game last night? Any of it?
I watched the highlights this morning.
Okay, it was a good game. It was a good game. KD and Kyrie just put on the show. Scroll down. Uh, Brown, Bruce Brown. I don't know. He did a good job defensively. He fulfilled that Ben Simmons role. As for the Cavs, yeah, that's a good young team. They're a piece away though,
A piece away from what?
competing in the East, like legitimately competing in the East. They just need a wing, a talented wing to go to this team.
What I will say about the Cavs, what I think they've done a really good job over the past couple of years, which they probably won't get credit for until this year, is they did a good job of collecting talent. Just getting good young pieces. And I like a lot of the pieces for the Cavs, but I felt like
Uh-oh.
maybe it's because of their past poor seasons. I felt like they were never going to turn it around. Maybe they didn't have enough quote unquote star power on their team. They didn't have that guy. But this year, I'm not saying that they have that guy yet. I will say they do have
They
a
do.
ton of talent.
They do got that guy. His name is Garland. Say something. I wish you would. You can't. Garland is nice. That boy nice. They just need a wing that can compete with the other wings in the East. That's all it is. If you go up against Giannis, they don't have nobody to go up against Giannis. They don't have nobody to go up against Jason Tatum. They don't have nobody to go up against KD. They just need that one more person.
Here's a question. They played pretty well this year, so that means they're probably going to have probably like a mid-teens to high 20 round pick when it comes to the draft. You're probably not going to find that guy there. It's going to be a real shot in the dark per se. And people don't. It's not like free agents come to Cleveland, so they still might be. That still might be like, even though they might be a piece away, they still might be like 2-3 years away from competing, like you said.
I disagree with a lot of what you said.
Which parts?
A lot. I think wherever they're picking in the draft, they can easily find that piece if it does come down to that. But I don't think you easily find pieces in the draft. I'm not a person that believes that the top. You got to prove it after the top 5 picks to me in the league. Like, and shout out who did. Donovan Mitchell, for example, went later. I think Devin Booker went later than 5. I could be wrong. There's
Giannis.
some people, but I'm not sold on you until you prove it. So I don't care about what they get in the draft until the person proves it. Um, as for the people who are free agents not going to Cleveland, yes, you got a point, but there is a trend of people who will go to play with young teams. And I think that's a and I think this is a young, talented team.
How should I say this? Um, yes, I agree with you. I can't deny anything that you just said right there. But when
No.
couldn't you say that those free agents would want to go to other even though let's say small market cities are just more uh what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. I have
It's
no idea what
a
argument
better
you make.
environment, bigger city. It may be a smaller market, but bigger city, more shit to do. Like for example, Memphis is a small city team. I can see a veteran free agent want to go there, play with those young guys. I think that would be more coveted than going to Cleveland. I don't think people, and it's a cold city. Cleveland gets shit on a lot, even though it is a great city. But we live in
Rob,
Ohio,
it
so
sounds
we're
like you
biased.
don't want no free agent to go to Cleveland. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you
It's not
telling
about
every nice free. It sounds like you're telling every nice free agent to not come to Cleveland because of what you just previously just said before I cut you off.
historically, unless LeBron's there, there hasn't been a reason to come to Cleveland. And I do like your point that they have a nice young core and people like going to young cores. But I think there's a ton of other young cores out there that people would want to go to.
A
Charlotte's a
ton.
nice young core. The Pacers are a nice young core. Um, I think there's
The
other.
Pacers, the Pacers aren't going to be broken up here in a minute. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's what I gotta say about Cleveland though. Did you want to talk about the other game? Let's talk about the other game.
Sure, I guess. Brooklyn still ain't coming out the East. I don't care what nobody say, unless Ben Simmons comes back, and even then, he might still be a liability. I also watched this game. uh, First off, the Clippers did a really good job of limiting Karl Anthony Towns. This guy had no points in the first half. So I think that was really good. I think that was their game plan coming into this game. Probably try to limit the big men, make the guards try to beat them. Obviously, they have talented wing defenders. Obviously, Kawhi's not there, but Paul George was there. Um, this was a good game. Like down to the wire, this was just a good game. Um, with Karl Anthony Towns not getting his. Once again, I said it probably in the previous episode and maybe the episode before that. Anthony Edwards, once again, I didn't know what he was going to be in the league, and my goodness, he took over that game, boy. Him and D'Angelo Russell took over that game. Uh, that was whew, they couldn't do it. They couldn't stop him. That's a problem. That's a problem right there. That guy's he's a beast. He's a beast. I gotta give him my respect. But it was definitely a good game by the Clippers too. They put up good numbers, but I don't know. I don't know. I would feel like the Clippers got to do something because this whole paying Kawhi is still on the bench. Paul George missing all this time, and then you gonna be the AC, but they getting paid like crazy. They said I think it was top 5 of the top 10 paid players this year. They didn't. Most of them didn't play many games. Uh,
What's many
Clay was
games like?
there.
Not half the season.
Clay. It was Clay, Kawhi. Hmm, I forgot. I
AD
forgot
had
them
to be
all.
on the
But
list, right?
he might have been. I can't remember. I know Clay and Kawhi was for sure on that list. Oh, John Wall. John Wall was on that list too.
Mm.
Yeah,
They're talking about him being in trade talks for Russ right now. But
it's.
do you see the Clippers coming out? Do you like the Clippers in this next round? In this last playing game that they're going to have to
I
play?
don't know who they're going to go against. But yeah, absolutely.
I think
They're
they
the
match
higher
up well
seed.
against both of them.
The one thing about the Clippers, Uh, somebody said it perfect today. They were like, the Clippers and the Suns are the two teams that should be really fighting for the West right now. And their point was every other team is either too young or you too old and you getting too hurt. And it started making sense because Golden State's been hurt, Lakers been hurt. Um, then you got the young team, the John Morants. Obviously, they're popping off the Pelicans and shit like that. But it really should be a race for the Clippers, who's a very talented team. Even without Paul George and Kawhi, they're a talented team. You got one of them; they're a really talented team. Uh,
I have a
and then
question about
obviously
that.
the Suns. I don't need to even say shit about the Suns. They're nice as fuck. Um,
I have a question
but
about
yeah,
that.
yep,
Would you consider Denver one of those young teams?
yep.
So here's my question. I don't know if we did this on the podcast or not, but I was telling you about how I had those Boston Celtics teams, specifically Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown back in like 2018, 2019. I had them coming out the East, and they didn't come out the East.
What
We were
Kyrie?
talking about it a couple days ago. You said, "Yeah, bro, you just had them too early."
Yep.
Do you think it's too early to be on Denver? You think it's still too early for Denver?
This year specifically,
Yes.
yeah. Jamal Murray's not there. Why would you be there?
Well, I'm just talking about from like a age perspective because they're
They're not
still
going to win it this year. You're a year early. Yeah. If you talk about next year, Murray's healthy, we can have a conversation. But I would still say he needs to get his feet underneath him.
okay. All right, that answers my question.
I know it did. With that being said, though, the Clippers, them boys is nice. Another thing about the Clippers, I gotta give them the most credit for. This team is stacked. Not just players. I'm talking about coaching staff, front office. This team is stacked. Um, boy, y'all are under some pressure because that owner is paying out far too much money. He got a new building about to come in Inglewood. I believe it's Inglewood. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, man. The one thing I will say about the Clippers, though, one last thing about the team, as well coached as they are, their second half is ridiculous. When they come out on a bad game, their second half is ridiculous. They come back crazy. They win games in the second half for real, for real.
Yep, definitely. All right, let's preview some of the games tonight. Who do you got in the Charlotte Atlanta game?
I believe this one just started. I got Atlanta.
So Charlotte's down 9 right now in the first. I'm still going to take Charlotte. Probably gonna watch this game after we get off the air.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they can come back. I don't know what they're really doing right now, but it's still early in the game, so they can come back. Oh my God, Terry was just 0 for 5. That's not good.
Yep. Not
That's not good.
surprised. But yeah, Atlanta got the shooters that can outdo these niggas. Don't get me wrong. Charlotte's big and athletic. They make good plays, but they're still young and they make mistakes. Um, but they're a resilient team. But I also think the Hawks are very resilient as well. And they have these shooters all around with Trae Young. I think this team is nice. I think it's hard to outdo this team when they're on. And I think it's playoff time for them. They're on.
It looks like Trey Young's struggling right now. He's 1 for 6, 0 for 3 from 3.
We're doing
Still
a
early in the
preview.
game, but I really like Kevin Herter. He had a really good playoffs last year, and he's a really key piece to that Hawks team. He's basically if you don't really know who he is, he's a la Klay Thompson to uh Trey Young, Steph Curry per se.
What?
But he's really big. He's tall. I believe he's like 6'7". He's a tall sniper, and he's really good. One of my favorite moments from last year's playoffs about him was when he was bodying up Steph Curry. He was giving Steph Curry work, and Steph Curry couldn't do anything with him.
I gotta disagree with you. Kevin Herter's nice, and he
He's
is a
really nice.
two. But that nigga Gallinari be going off.
I agree with you, but I look like Gallinari like a old school vet at this point in his career.
What is Klay Thompson?
Superstar,
What a vet.
a veteran superstar. There's a
But
difference.
he's a vet. He's a vet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gallinari nice. Don't sleep on this dude. He's gonna be dropping points this whole because this team gonna make the playoffs somehow. I don't know how, but they're gonna make the playoffs.
Well, they got to win this game first. So
Go to Charlotte's team real quick. Scroll down.
let me go up.
Yeah, whichever one. Yep. They don't have an answer for Clint Capella. They don't have an answer for him. Plumlee.
But they've
That's the
always been a
best.
smaller athletic team, so they would want to get the start running on them. That's the goal.
That ain't gonna work. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Not against the Hawks, because they can shoot you out the gym. They can score any which way, honestly. We can go to the next game though, because I really want to see this game.
The last game is the Spurs versus the Pelicans.
Spurs Pelicans. This is a tough one. This is a very tough one. If I had to choose, um, obviously, if I had to choose, just gonna take Pop in this because I won't. I'm not gonna count against Popovich. To be honest with you, that's my biggest thing. Bi is one of my favorite players in the way he plays the game and his actual what he can do. CJ McCollum is obviously crazy nice. Um, if Zion was there, it'd be a different story, clearly. But
Is
I just think if you give Popovich some time to coach against you and focus on this one team, I think he could put something out there.
okay.
That boy, DeJounte Murray, he nice.
I agree with you. It's hard to bet against Pop in this game. But if anything happens, it's going to be CJ and Brandon Ingram that win this game for the Pelicans or pull this game away for the Pelicans. In my opinion, one of them are going to go crazy or go off. I can see one of them going for like 30, honestly, if not both. Not both. I can see somebody going for 30, another go for 20, and them winning the game by like 10 points. But
I
I agree with
wonder
you. I like the Spurs in this game.
if
I'll
they
go with
run
Pop.
this starting lineup right here. I don't know if the Spurs can beat them. It's just too
It's a
much
really good
length
starting
on
lineup
the order. Yeah, if that's the starting lineup, I don't know if it is, bro.
with
But
Javante
yeah,
Graham coming off the bench. Uh, yeah,
I would hate to see the Pelicans lose again, but I'm not. It's the same thing we said with the Nuggets. Um, if Zion's not there, I'm not giving this team much of a chance. To be honest with you.
that's fair. That's fair. All right, you got anything else to say about the playing games?
Nope. But Jokic should be MVP.
Shout out to Joker.
A lot of people
So,
saying Embiid. Jokic put up better numbers. And I'll just say go off the numbers personally at that point. But that's just me.
well, we would like to thank you for watching another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. We'll be back with you guys Friday afternoon for another episode. See you then.